Clink, 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 clink.
I do
The
like...
sound of the canals.
I do like it, but I imagine if you actually lived in a lockkeeper's cottage, like, does it become...
You'd be sitting up there with a 12 gauge being like, right. Ding, 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 ding.
Like, I like it, but then we don't often moor by locks. And when you're inside, actually, you don't hear it. Well, no, you do, actually. It's just this, like, background. Ding, ding, ding,
Ding,
ding.
ding, 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 ding. It's a very high-pitched ding. You could just imagine that somebody who was like, I'm just going to buy this flat and, you know, it's nice and picturesque. It's beside a canal. That sounds really nice. But they're not a boater that after a few weeks and months of ding, 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 they'd be like, I'm going to go out in the middle of the night with a chainsaw.
To me, it just signals that a boat's coming. Like, or if a boat goes past, it's like, oh yeah, there they are at the lock.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you were living in a house next to a lock.
Yeah, it'd be like, how do I disable that thing? It's weird because there's this very large road, very busy road.
The M6.
The M6, yeah, that's big, busy road. So you'd expect that would be the annoying sound, but that just is that low drum of traffic. Whereas every time there's the clink, 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 it's like, okay, I know what that is. So apparently, behind us towards Kidsgrove is what they call Heartbreak Hill.
So Michael's a bit concerned that we're going to break up at the top.
Yeah, it's known for ruining relationships.
I don't think that's why it's called Heartbreak.
I don't know why it's called Heartbreak Hill. I don't think it's actually officially known as Heartbreak Hill. It's just sort of
Right
a
down the
nickname
street.
it's got. Yeah.
And so I looked up. It's 4 miles, about 4.5 hours, and 14 locks.
So good fun?
Yeah.
We should get started now.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
cold today.
Yeah. George has been fed. We just need to pick up his poop.
George poop collected and accounted for, it's time to untie the boat and push off. As usual, George is excited to be walking the towpath with Joe instead of riding on the boat. PIERPOINT top and bottom locks are the only locks on Heartbreak Hill that weren't duplicated. They must have caused a bottleneck during busy times. Luckily for us, they are both empty and set in our favor. This brick structure is Chell's Aqueduct, taking us over the Chells Hill Road. Then it's under Beckett's Bridge and into Thurlwood Lower Lock. You have to feel sorry for Mr. Duck while his friends are hiding from him. Hide and seek has apparently ended, so I give them some dinner. Until now, today's cruise has been fairly rural, but we are now passing through the village of Road Heath, where there appears to be a lot of new housing. Just one lock survives here. In the 1950s, a somewhat experimental steel lock was built to replace a lock that was suffering from subsidence caused by brine pumping. It had guillotine gates, visible culvert tubes, and metal steps and railings. However, it was apparently unreliable and took a while to fill. Sadly, it was demolished in 1988 and cut up for scrap. Here we pass the Broughton Arms. The deck chairs outside look quite inviting, but we push on. A sharp turn to get us under Bridge 138A, which takes us under Knutsford Road. Then it's over Snape's Aqueduct, which takes us over Old Knutsford Road. The next locks are a set of 3 locks known as the LAWTON treble locks. A little lockside treat for George.
We are at lock 49. Lost count of the number of locks we've done. Something really weird just happened. We were in the lock below and there was a boat coming down this lock, but the water was up in both locks. So he went into the lock, dropped the lock he was in and the next lock, and then opened both sets of gates. So now I've got the set of gates to close that we've come into and the set of gates of the other lock to close. I have no idea what he was doing.
We are not sure how long the towpath lock has been out of action, but it doesn't look like it will be much longer before nature has fully reclaimed it. Is it my imagination, or is the canal getting redder and redder the further we go?
This rain wasn't forecast, and it's not even like proper rain. We're in like a mist. We're in a cloud.
The weather has turned and it is starting to get windy and rainy. We've done 12 locks so far and it is tempting to stop at the moorings above Yew Tree Lock, but we decide to just stop and drop off our rubbish at the service point and then push on to the north entrance of the Harecastle Tunnel so we can do some grocery shopping, ready to go through the tunnel tomorrow. So that's 4 locks left to do today. Someone has clearly had a bit of a party on their boat. As well as dropping off our rubbish, we pop into the Canal and River Trust shop and pick up an ice cream. Into Red Bull Lock, and we finally understand how it got its name. Well, presumably it was named after a red-colored man cow, and not the disgusting energy drink I was addicted to a few years ago. This is Flyover Junction. The Macclesfield Canal meets the Trent and Mersey Canal above Plantslock at Hardingswood Junction, then loops back and crosses over the Trent and Mersey here.
Last block, the bridge is a little low. Just a little.
Finally, the last lock, and we think we can start looking for a mooring and finish for the day, but apparently that isn't going to happen. The canal seems to have been getting redder all day, and here, just north of the entrance to Harecastle Tunnel, it is really red. Apparently this is due to the iron oxides in the water.
So behind me is the Harecastle Tunnel, and we pulled through Red Bull, which apparently is the last place you're supposed to actually moor up. There was a couple of spots on here which looked okay, but when we got down here, the keeper of the tunnel said that this place is enough of a problem area for vandalism and everything that it's unsafe to stop here for boats, at least overnight. So we're not stopping overnight. Joe's walked up to a nearby Tesco's so we can have a little bit of groceries before we head down. These boats down here, there's a grand total of 4. There's 3 down here and another one back around the corner. We'll be heading through in a few minutes before Joe arrives. Then we'll wait to see if any other boats are coming through northbound. If they are, we'll be waiting. Otherwise, we're here before 4, so we'll get moved through on a southbound trip. And then we'll go through the Harecastle Tunnel today. But we did not intend to do so.
The 4 boats waiting to go through the tunnel set off south just as Joe gets back from Tesco's. We pull forward to the first mooring by the tunnel entrance, where the tunnel keeper gives us a quick safety briefing before he raises the barrier and sends us through. He passes us a light for our roof and wishes us a safe trip, and then it's off into the darkness. The Harecastle Tunnel is 2,926 yards long and was opened in 1827. It's the 4th longest navigable tunnel in the UK, after the Standage, Blissworth and Netherton tunnels. I wonder how long this guy's been down here. The roof is fairly low, but I can just about stand up. There are places that get lower and they are painted brightly, so you can see them coming and duck out of the way. Finally, the doors at the end open and we emerge into the light, now to finally find that mooring.
Well, today took a turn.
Yes. You're coming southbound towards Harecastle Tunnel. And
But you don't want to go through the tunnel.
But you don't want to go through the tunnel. Stop in Red Bull. Stop by the Red Bull pub, go get a Red Bull. Wait for the night.
Don't think, oh, just go more at Kidsgrove.
Drink that Red Bull first thing in the morning. just plow through Kidsgrove as fast as you possibly can and get through the tunnel.
We thought we'd moor at the north end of the Harecastle Tunnel, have a day off, chill. Bear in mind, we'd already cruised for 4 hours at this point, or 4.5 hours at this point, done 14 locks. We were done. We were ready to finish.
Yeah. So at Red Bull, it's quite nice, and there's like, the waterways.
Canal and River Trust.
Canal and River Trust office. There's the aqueduct that passes over that carries the Macclesfield over you, and it's all kind of nice, but it starts to go downhill as soon as you get up that lock.
It's like 3 more locks after Red Bull.
Yeah, and the Red Bull pub itself looks
it's okay.
And then you get a little bit further on and you're like, meh. And then you get to the bridge and all the graffiti and the needles on the ground.
The drug addicts just casually hanging out.
And you're just like, yeah, okay, maybe this ain't
And then you get to the Harecastle Tunnel and you speak to the tunnel keeper. Tunnel keeper? Tunnel master?
The tunnel man.
And he says, it's not safe to moor here.
Yeah, you can't moor here overnight.
He's like,
okay.
He's like, I'll get you through the tunnel. I was like, oh yeah, but we wanted to stop and go shopping. Go shopping, I'll get you through the tunnel.
Yeah. So we went shopping and he got us through the tunnel. The tunnel itself was fairly straightforward. Basically, the guy at the other end checked our horn, checked our light, which is why it's good that I still had the air horn left over from the Thames, because our electric horn packed it up a little while ago. And I tried testing exactly why. We've got voltage, so the horn has probably got a large spider inside of it.
So the tunnel, we were all sat on the back, all 3 of us. Because it was like all last minute, I was totally unprepared. Michael because I ran to Tesco's and got a bag full of groceries, and Michael got the boat prepared, but like I just hadn't been in tunnel mode, so I hadn't thought, I need to go and switch on all the lights inside.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Joe came back, the boats went down. We grabbed our ropes and started pulling our boat forward to the end of the queue so we'd be ready for the next trip. And all of a sudden he came out and was like, right, show me your light.
And we were like,
honk your horn.
I was just like not even in the right frame of mind for it. So then we all got on the back and we were going through, and we left the back doors bolted from the inside, so I couldn't go in and turn the lights on, which I'd forgotten to turn on. So there's this little trick we do with the rope where we dangle it down and you can pull the bolt.
Sort of fish the hook.
So I was doing that in the dark. George was not happy. He was like shaking pretty much the whole way through.
And I'm driving through a tunnel where the profile changes as you move along, so you've got to kind of consistently duck a little bit further and then you can stand up a bit more. And
me and George are sat on the floor of the stern, like I'm trying to like just cuddle him and stop him shaking, and we're just getting this running commentary about there's water coming, and when Michael said that we have to duck down because we get dripped on a lot. And then I'd
be like, profile is getting lower, profile is getting lower again, profile is going bigger, more water, 5, 4, 3, 2. She just screamed.
I did. There was one.
Yeah, that one was bad.
It was like a waterfall,
and it was right in the middle of the tunnel.
I should have actually moved, but I didn't realise how much time I had.
Yeah.
Because you got to the side of it, but it just went straight over me.
Whoa.
And we were both dressed for summer. We both got shorts on, shivering on the back, covered in water.
But we made it out the far side.
We did the Harecastle Tunnel today. I was not expecting to do that.
No, not at all.
We've been going for about 8 hours.
And it was surprising because it's the first tunnel we've been in where you can't see the end, and that's because, and you don't figure this out until you get to the end, but that's because they actually have a set of doors that are closed to block off this end, and there's a ventilation fan mechanism that runs from the south end, so they have to close the doors to keep the ventilation
so
working.
The ventilation goes the right way, but the whole way down this noise is getting louder and louder, and like, what is it is it a boat engine,
and you can't see any sort of exit, and then all of a sudden the door opens up for one of the boats in front of us, and so all of a sudden it's like, ooh, blinding light, I know where we're going, and then it closes again, and you're like, wait, hold on, they've shut the door. I kind of wish I'd known ahead of time that there were doors.
Yeah.
If I'd known ahead of time that there were doors, there would have been less nervousness. Because
you like, is that a boat that stopped? Or where is the end? Before we even got to the tunnel, we did 14 locks. That seems like yesterday. That was this morning.
I know.
It was a lovely cruise.
Yeah.
It was hard work, but
no, it was a nice cruise, nice area. Right up until Kidsgrove itself, it was all very rural, horse fields and cattle fields, and oh my gosh, you're just blowing out now. Suns just came right over.
There was that one weird moment where, because a lot of the way there's 2 locks, but then occasionally one of the locks is out of action, and then other times the lock's completely filled in and you can barely even see where it was.
Outline was, yeah.
And so we were in one lock, and there was a guy coming down the lock above, or a couple coming down the lock above. And I was like, oh good, we can swap locks with them. We don't have to shut the doors. Like, we'll just go into the lock that they came in. But I think they thought they were going to be helpful. So they dropped the lock they were in, and they dropped the lock next to it. And then they opened the doors on the lock next to it and said, here, you can go in this lock. But then they came out of that lock. So then we had like two open locks.
Had to dodge them anyway, and I could have ended up, but yeah, it was a big goofball.
I'm sure he was trying to be helpful, and maybe he thought we were going to be quicker than we were. But all it meant was that we got to the lock. Michael had to choose which one to go in. He went in, and then I had two locks to shut. I was like, I was a bit grumpy.
That was not helpful.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I've had so many locks to do. I don't need an extra set of gates just to shut.
Oh. But it's been a fun day.
It's the longest cruise we've done in ages and ages. Yeah. Have you got any Harecastle Tunnel facts for me?
There were there's 3 tunnels that were bored through Harecastle Hill. The first one was made by Brindley, and that is the one that actually is to the west of the current Harecastle Tunnel. It's still there, it's still apparently intact, but it's subsided so much over the years that it ended up having to be abandoned in, I think, the 60s. No more traffic could go through there. It had been used as 2 one-way tunnels, so one went through the Brindley Tunnel and the other route of traffic went through the later tunnel. The later tunnel was built by Telford. The horses were originally used to tow through, and then that gave way to steam tug. The Telford Tunnel had its towpath ultimately removed, which now makes it much easier to deal with the fact that
it's quite wide, isn't it?
It's quite wide. And then the third tunnel through Harecastle Hill is actually a railway tunnel, which is now abandoned. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that this
funny when you
hill is just like basically a giant Swiss cheese.
When you look back now, it looks like a building with with a big door in it.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a...
Now we've gone dark again.
And then, as we were coming through the tunnel, I was like, we're just going to take the first mooring we see, right? I was like, yeah. So we come out the tunnel, and there's these boats moored on there. They're like queuing on the other side, but there's some boats moored on this side. And Mike was like, there's some rings there, let's go and moor there. Okay. So just because of the way the boat was facing, I got off on the other side and walked across the bridge. Michael was coming to moor there, and the boat behind us came and said, oh, just to let you know, I think that's the winding hole. It's marked on the map as the winding hole. And we were like, oh yeah, it does look like a winding hole. Why is the mooring rings? There's no sign. And then the tunnel keeper came and I think he was telling us the same thing.
Yeah, he's like, that's the winding hole.
But anyway, and there's no sign, but yeah, looking at it, it is wide enough for a 70.
I guess the ring is for those people who have to turn the hard way.
Maybe.
They bring in the nose, somebody jumps off, ties it on, they spin.
So then luckily we had to just hop past this one boat and squeeze in here. Because we can't go any further.
Nah.
Can't talk anymore.
That's it, the end of the day. So, we didn't expect to have... We thought we were going to give you a video that ended with us arriving at the north end of the Harecastle Tunnel, and then the next video...
And it was going to be like, oh, just go through the Harecastle Tunnel next time.
Yeah, but instead you got the bonus Harecastle Tunnel, so...
Is there... I was seeing if the canal was quite as teabaggy as it was.
No, it was weird though.
The other end of the tunnel.
Really red. Yeah. I got a shot of it because it was like really red water. I think there's some diluting that goes on in the tunnel because there's a couple of places where water really shoots in through the side. But yeah, on the north end of the Harecastle, it was really like the water was kind of shockingly red.
Someone must have dropped an awful lot of tea bags in there.
I think that's it.
All right, thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.
Give it a thumbs up if you did.
Comment down below. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
And hit the bell if you want to get those notifications. Good?
Yeah.
All right. So if you're coming southbound and you're on your way through Red Hill, stop.
Red Bull.
No, sorry. Cut all that. Blah, 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 blah. What were we talking about?